In the valley where the wind hummed ancient lullabies and the fireflies danced like suspended stars, Zimal, Jan, and their loyal goat Gul Khan stumbled upon a mystery that was not loud, but deafeningly quiet. It was an evening painted in hues of lavender and deep indigo, the kind of night where the soul feels a little lighter, ready to listen to the whispers of the earth. The twilight draped over the valley like a heavy purple velvet, softening the edges of the jagged mountains. Zimal sat by the riverbank, the water rushing past with the sound of 1,000 glass beads rolling over one another. It was here, amidst the smooth, polished river rocks, that she found it, a stone that refused to shine. While the other pebbles glistened, wet and eager under the fading sun, this one remained matte, gray, and stubbornly silent. It was rough to the touch, like the calloused hands of a hard-working farmer. Jan, skipping stones with the energy of a spring hare, stopped and frowned. "Why pick that one, Zimal?" he asked, tilting his head. "It is ugly. It has no sparkle." Zimal held the stone to her heart, closing her eyes. "Beauty is not always a shout, Jan," she whispered, her voice blending with the river's song. "Sometimes the most precious things are those that keep their secrets until you are ready to listen. This stone carries the weight of a story untold." Gul Khan, the goat with a beard as white as a cloud and an appetite as wide as the valley, was entirely unimpressed. He chewed on a patch of sweet clover with the rhythmic precision of a ticking clock, his bell chiming a soft ting-ting with every movement. He nudged the stone in Zimal's hand with his wet nose, sniffing it disdainfully before returning to his dinner. To Gul Khan, if it wasn't green, crunchy, or scratchable, it was irrelevant. "See? Even Gul Khan thinks it is just a rock," Jan laughed, trying to tickle the goat behind the ears. But Zimal smiled, stroking Gul Khan's woolly back. "Gul Khan judges with his stomach, Jan. We must judge with our souls. Look closely. The stone is not empty. It is waiting." The wind picked up, rustling the leaves of the chinar trees, sounding like the turning pages of a giant, invisible book. The trio sat there, a circle of curiosity against the vastness of the darkening world. Night finally arrived, throwing a blanket of stars over the world. The moon emerged from behind the peaks like a polished silver plate, casting a milky glow over the valley. Zimal placed the silent stone on a flat stump of an old oak tree, turning the makeshift pedestal into an altar of curiosity. "Now," she whispered, "we watch." The crickets began their nightly orchestra, a rhythmic chirping that made the silence feel deeper. Jan sat cross-legged, his chin in his hands, staring at the gray lump. "It's just a stone, Zimal. It's not going to dance." Zimal adjusted her shawl, the embroidery catching the moonlight. "Patience, Jan. The moon does not rise in a hurry, and the flower does not bloom because you command it. We are so used to noise that we have forgotten how to hear the silence." The stone sat there, bathed in moonlight, looking even more ancient and stoic than before. Suddenly, the wind changed direction, sweeping down from the snowy peaks with a chill that made them shiver. It was not just air, it was a traveling storyteller, carrying the scent of pine and distant rain. As the wind swirled around the stump, Jan gasped. "Did you hear that?" he whispered, eyes wide. A low, humming sound seemed to emanate from the stone, vibrating against the wood of the stump. It wasn't a mechanical noise, but a resonance, like a hum of a monk in deep meditation. Gul Khan stopped chewing and pricked his ears up, his bell falling silent. Zimal leaned in, her eyes reflecting the galaxies above. "It is singing," she said softly. "It is not singing with a voice, Jan. It is singing with vibration. It is answering the wind." The stone, previously so dull, seemed to absorb the moonlight, its gray surface looking almost like liquid mercury for a fleeting second. Jan reached out to touch it, but Zimal gently caught his hand. "Not yet," she cautioned. "To understand the heart of the stone, we must first understand the patience of the mountain." She pointed to the dark silhouettes of the peaks surrounding them. They stand through storms, through snow, through scorching sun, and they never complain. This stone is a child of those mountains. It teaches us that strength is not about how hard you can hit, but how much you can endure while remaining whole. Jan pulled his hand back, looking at the stone with newfound respect. He realized that his rush to understand was like trying to pry open a rosebud. It would only destroy the bloom. The lesson settled in his chest, warm and heavy. Beside them, Gul Khan lay down, tucking his legs beneath him, his breathing syncing with the slow rhythm of the night. Zimal closed her eyes and recalled a memory, the scent of her grandmother's rosewater perfume filling her mind. Grandmother used to say that some stones are actually frozen tears of the earth, Zimal murmured. She said they hold the sadness of the world so that the soil can remain happy enough to grow flowers. Jan looked at the rough gray surface. "So it is sad?" he asked, his voice full of empathy. "No," Zimal corrected gently. "It is strong. It carries the burden so others don't have to. That is the highest form of kindness, Jan, to be strong for others without asking for praise." The metaphor hung in the air, transforming the ugly gray rock into a hero in Jan's eyes. He no longer saw a rock. He saw a guardian. The moonlight seemed to acknowledge this shift, shining a little brighter on the trio. Gul Khan, having rested enough, decided it was time to intervene. He stood up, stretched, and with a clumsy stumble, knocked the stone off the stump. It rolled, clack, 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 into a patch of white jasmine flowers blooming nearby. John gasped, fearing it would break, but the stone landed softly in the embrace of the fragrant petals. And then something magical happened. Surrounded by the life and scent of the jasmine, the stone began to change. It didn't turn to gold, but cracks of light began to appear on its surface, glowing with a soft, warm amber hue. "Look," John cried, "it's waking up." Zimal smiled, her theory proven. "It didn't need the moon, and it didn't need the wind," she said. "It needed life. It needed to be near something that blooms." The glow from the stone was not blinding. It was comforting, like a candle in a window during a storm. It pulsed gently, a heartbeat of light. Zimal knelt beside the jasmine patch. "You see, Jan?" She spoke, her voice thick with emotion. Inner beauty is like this. It often stays hidden under a rough gray exterior, protecting itself from a judging world. But when it finds kindness, when it finds a soft place to land, it reveals its true light. John touched the jasmine flowers gently. So the stone was never silent, he realized. It was just waiting for the right conversation. The stone's warmth radiated outward, making the jasmine scent stronger, filling the night air with a perfume that smelled like hope. Gul Khan bleated softly, as if agreeing with the philosophy. Zimal picked up the stone, which was now warm to the touch. The amber light didn't fade, it stabilized, turning the gray rock into a lantern of the earth. "What is the secret of the silent stone?" Jan asked, looking into Zimal's eyes. "The secret," Zimal replied, holding the stone out to him, "is that it reflects the heart of the holder. When we looked with judgment, it was gray. When we looked with love and patience, it became light. The world is a mirror, Jan. If you offer it silence and judgment, it stays cold. If you offer it warmth and patience, it glows." Jan took the stone carefully. In his small hands, the light flickered happily. He felt a calmness wash over him, a soothing balm for his restless energy. They decided not to keep the stone. "Magic like this belongs to the valley," Zimal said. They walked back to the riverbank, the path illuminated by the stone in Jan's hand and the moon overhead. They placed the stone back among the other gray river rocks, but they positioned it so its faint glow would guide night travelers. As they walked home, Gul Khan trotting happily behind them, the valley felt different. It was no longer just a place of rocks and trees. It was a library of living stories. Zimal took Jan's hand. "Remember, Jan, the most beautiful things don't ask for attention." The wind whispered a final approval through the trees, and the silent stone continued to glow by the river, a beacon for those who know how to look with their hearts. And so Zimal, Jan, and Gul Khan returned to the warmth of their home, carrying a light within them that was far brighter than the stone they left behind. They learned that the world is full of silent miracles, waiting for a patient heart to unlock them.